All right, good morning traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to go through the order flow in Bookmap and look for advantages, opportunities. It is not a trading room. It is live analysis though. And that's because with order flow, that's what you can do. Understanding the behavior in the auction process, in the transactions, as well as the market structure, allows you to give an insight to where price might be going next. All right, so let's go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. One more thing, well, a couple more things. Please, if you are over in Discord and you want access to specific things, we need to pair your email from bookmap.com. When you log into Bookmap, we need to be able to pair it with your Discord name. All right, this makes a big difference for us, so that we can offer you, we may have exclusive events like webinars. We may have beta programs, like we have several right now going on, giving free access to those. To have all of that occur, we need to pair your Discord username. All right, so please do that. That would be very helpful for us. You can use your phone and sign up immediately just with the QR code. Take a screenshot here. All right, let's jump into the markets here. Let's look at the S&P E-mini. We typically start with that one. But as it is said here, this is the all markets webinar. All right, so we can look at any market you guys want, and we can. I just only have 4 markets up at the moment. 2 stocks and 2 futures instruments, but we can also look at crypto and other stocks. All right, so we had some data this morning, quite a bit. You can see 8:30 we had the PPI data. That's the producer price index, and that in core PPI, and you can see that market didn't like that data. And then also we just had the University of Michigan consumer sentiment data, and lesser important one, but you can see the market has reacted to that, but we're already back up above that that initial move down here. Anyway, let's dig into some of the details. All right, what's going on in here, and look for potential opportunities. Well, we are above still 5,000 here. Okay, if we look here and zoom out a little bit, I don't even see a whole lot of liquidity down here at 5,000 in the heat map. But at least so far, it appears like this is the direction we are going. Just keep an eye out for that in the bigger picture. Now, for the smaller picture right now, it actually looks like we want to break this. Look at the bid, look at the volume here, and maybe test this 50, 29, or 30 area up here, something like that on the smaller picture. Because we are above this knee-jerk reaction to the downside for the consumer sentiment. Right, and we can see the volume picking up. We can see it trades into high liquidity here, and we're back up here when you see more volume, and we have a bid. Okay, for those reasons, we would look for a bit more volume up here, and for them to break this level and trade up to this 28 to 30 level up in here, this liquidity here. Okay, so yeah, we're talking like 5-6 points, something like that, and we are looking for that scenario right now. All right, now it's not a trade recommendation, but we're just looking at the auction here and understanding the transactions and where players are willing to take price. Okay, so that's the process here on the shorter time frame. All right, so anyway, Yeah, let's see if we get that to unfold. And let me mark up a line here at our kind of 29-ish level here. All right, so now we can also talk about trade management within these kinds of potential opportunities in the order flow here. And then how do you get involved into something like this? Okay, well, I mean, we're in a big downtrend. Okay, so that's the first to note that. So is this really something that you want to get involved with? We can very easily find the sellers bring it back down here. So maybe you're not looking for the breakout trade. Maybe instead you'd be looking for a pullback to someplace. Okay, yeah, actually, I don't think we're going to get that pullback. It looks like we're getting more buyers here, and there's still a bid. So looking for them to tangle with and trade into and through some of this liquidity here on the offer. But anyway, just to put some perspective into some of these potential opportunities, and understand that we are, if we were in an uptrend and we saw this, it would look pretty good that or more likely that we would get the move higher, right? With this being a downtrend, we might get kind of pullbacks in these areas, even though the bid looks good and the transactions look good, and we are above some of that these data points in here, okay, from consumer sentiment. All right, so anyway, some considerations there. Trade management wise, yeah, I mean, you could be looking for I don't know, maybe when the bid starts to pick up in here. We had the bid pick up in here, and we see the volume, but then traded here, pull back. The bid picked up in here again, right? This looks pretty good in for an entry, potentially in here, and then looking for our 29 to 30 level here, right? So now a few different other considerations for management on this. Now this is there's a few considerations in here, right? Since we are in that downtrend, okay. So maybe you can see we're kind of hitting these tops in here. Maybe taking some off here just to protect yourself, and hold though for 30, and move your stop up to break even at this point, right? That's one way. Another way is just move your stop up to break even. Simple as that, and then get out up here at 30, and your target is achieved. All right. Now, there's something else I want to cover in here regarding this, and it's using our new footprint chart add-on. So yeah, let me bring it up. Boy, there's a lot of things I want to cover in here today. So there's just something really simple I wanted to cover though in here, and this is bringing in. Now you can see we have a few different things here to take a look at. Okay, on the footprint chart. All right, so you can see the profile in here. It's a delta profile, and you can also see the data in here as, I'm going to put it as a horizontal delta, and this will, from the same price level, it will create the delta in here, right? So it's a negative number, it's red, positive number is green. That's great, right? So it gives us insight to what it looks like up in here, and tapered edges, etc. Whatever. There's another way to consider looking at this. If you don't want to, you want to look at the order flow in here in Bookmap, you don't need to look at this chart here. We can look at the delta down here in the kind of subchart area here. All right. So, and then the way we can do that is here for the background type, we'll select none. And here for text, don't show text, deselect it. All right. So now we're just going to look at delta, and delta is the top number here. All right. And then let's take a look at this. All right. So are we still interested in this trade here. In fact, let me take the legend off of here too. It kind of gets in the way. We know the top number is the delta, and that's what we're looking for. All right, so I'll take the legend status off. Okay, let's look at these deltas in here. Okay, so this is, again, this is more kind of a bigger picture, or it's an aggregation. Okay, we can really get into the the fine details in here in Bookmap, but this is just still giving us kind of a bigger picture in here. Well, you can see the delta turned around. Negative 6,700, negative 900, negative 250, positive 3,300, positive 600. Okay, so it is declining, right? That's why we would consider maybe management here of taking some off up at your 29.30 level, okay, or protecting yourself here and taking some off at some of these other levels, okay, where there's high liquidity here. Right, so it's just a scalp that you're looking for. Anyway, if you are using this kind of data, is there any reason to get out of this? Not yet. Okay? I mean, if we zoom in, we can see a little more breakdown and granularity in the delta data here. Okay, but this may help you stay with trades. It looks to me like it's kind of back and forth in here. There's some negative delta in here, but there's followed by positive delta. All right, getting a feel for the volume delta dots in here, combined with the kind of footprint chart of delta in here. Okay, just an idea for you guys. I've been playing around with this footprint chart, and I like this configuration. It helps me stick with trades better by understanding the delta. All right, so if I start to see some negative delta in here, maybe I get a little more aggressive with my trade management at that point. Right, so maybe my stop would be at break even right now, but if I start to see positive delta come in, maybe I'd even add more in and look for a test back into this 30 to 31 liquidity up here. All right, so again, looking at kind of the bigger picture in here with delta, along with the order flow in the limit order book, historical and current view, and then also the volume delta dots in here, along with the structure. All right, so see how it's picking up again in here. All right, great. So now, do I have something on the bid? A little bit. All right, well then, yeah, we're looking for it to come up here, but I'm not so eager about it. If I scaled in here, then it would be like, like a very low contract size. Okay, maybe it's worth taking a little bit more risk in here. Okay, but not too much risk, right? Because I understand there's still buyers in here. We're just using different terminology in here than we typically do in the webinars. And just saying that we have the positive delta, negative delta, whatever. And what we're talking about in the auction process, as we have for years in here, is talking about understanding the buyers up in these areas here compared to the sellers. It's all about the context. And the delta is just helping us with that context. That's all. It is kind of like a crutch we're leaning on and starting to understand. All right. So that's that. Let me, I haven't jumped back and asked any questions here. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, good morning, Travis. All right, it doesn't look like, looks like we're good on the questions. Yeah. So, and again, guys, look at this. Now there's the low volume pullback. Okay, there's our move up into 30. Now let's see if we get another move in here. I don't see any reason yet to get out. Okay, or you can even consider adding in more here. Now, again, this is not a trade recommendation. It's about going over these concepts for understanding that there's still positive buying up in these areas in here. Now we just a little bit on the bid, and you can see we got that. So we're getting our test back up into here. This will allow you not only to stay in the trade, you can even add into the trade opportunity. Okay, and then look for the taking some off up in here as well. All right, so look how the delta is starting to diminish a bit in here. Right, we're not seeing as much. Right, so anyway, these are some of the considerations using maybe this in together with the volume delta dots, and taking the footprint chart off. This way, like you can really see the details in here, get that context and understanding, but also have this kind of bigger picture delta. All right. Yeah, I'm pleased with this configuration and want to continue taking a look at it and studying it. In fact, we can go through some trade ideas in here using exactly this process. All right, so let me show you what I did here on the chart, looking at the NASDAQ. As I said in the past, like we're going to get more and more into the trading activity here in Bookmap, and yeah, just want to I was kind of testing this in sim here, so let's give it a minute. Okay, maybe I should open up this, turn it on. Where are my orders? Hold on. Buy sell trades. They should be on here. And I should be able to close that. Oh, I don't have it. They're further back. Sorry about that. Yeah, much further back. All right. Yeah, over in this area here. All right. So anyway, let's take a look at some of these ideas in here. In fact, some bad, not so good trading in here before the data, but then yeah, well, I don't really want to cover these in here. It was kind of the first test, but then let's cover in this in here, okay? And then what was my thought process in here on some of these trade ideas? Okay, so again, it's like we just had data, the PPI data. Okay, we know what the market thinks about the PPI. All right, and we see the big move down. We know sellers are moving the market. All right, so I'm just watching and looking for opportunities in here, and also looking at the negative delta in here. Right, so yeah, not a very good opportunity there. There's a sell here. There's another sell in here. Okay. And let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so and then we got a little bit of positive delta here, but it really started to come in negative now under here. Okay, I'm in again, pretty much at the same price levels. Now again, this is just testing. All right, but there's no reason to well, maybe a bit of a hiccup in here. It's not so clear, but you can also look at your cumulative volume delta in here, and if here we have it's slanting down, and we know in the cumulative volume delta that there's some divergence in here. Okay, there's still more selling than buying, right? So I'm looking for sell. I'm just waiting and watching for these buyers in here. I'm looking for sellers to come in and then move that market. Right, so that was my trade decision in here. Okay, so buyers coming in here and not being able to break the market structure. Right, and then I'm looking for the flip in here, and then this is important because it's not good trade management. I'll go over that element here, but it's testing in sim. All right, so for example. Yeah, this one's maybe not so good. I see the selling in here. and I know that there's some trapped maybe volume up in here. But here is a better example. All right, so what I'm looking at is we do break above this small structure here, but I'm looking for this one here or this one up here, right? And then we do see some buying up in here. But I'm looking for when the sellers will start to come in here. Right now, I got in a little late. This was actually during a meeting. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about the process, though, and for testing maybe some of these strategies and considerations. So here, I know that there's some buyers, but I know the sellers are starting to come in. Now, it kind of went my direction and just traded to the bottom of the range, but it chopped around in here. Okay, and then again here before. I'm still looking for that negative delta, which I was getting. And then you can see the selling coming in here, moving the market away. And then, yeah, I see another seller come in here. And then I enter, okay? Because now I know, where's my, okay, so here it is. Hold on a minute. Go back to footprint. That should do the trick. Yeah, I guess I was zoomed out a bit, and I know that there's still negative delta in here, 724. So it's telling me that there's more sellers in here. I have divergence in CVD at that point as well. And then I'm looking for follow through to the downside, and I'm going along with the bigger picture here. All right. Now, it went against me some, did not break structure. And then I look for that selling, and then I look for the follow through to the downside. Okay, so then got out and then got back in, sold again down here, and then got out here, same ideas. Started to get some negative delta in here after this move up, and I see again. Look at the structure that I'm looking for these guys. To feel the pain, okay, below here. And then especially down here, looking for all of these guys to feel the pain, okay? And because we have negative delta again, and I see the sellers coming in, and I'm going with the bigger picture trend, right? And again, it's just testing this in here. And there was some back and forth in here, right? Anyway, I think you guys get the idea. This is a great way, maybe with Market Pulse as well. This is something to take a look at. Back test some of these ideas with some of these new add-ons and see if it works for you. All right. Now, there's something I want to go over, and that is from yesterday's Academy meeting. We had a great meeting for the Bookmap Academy at market close yesterday. Let me just show you guys, if you over in YouTube, if you're not a part of it and you're intrigued by this, what you can do is go to bookmap.com, the more button here, and then go to Bookmap Academy here under community. We will give you feedback on your trading activity. You'll journal your trades. It's a coaching and mentoring program with the ability to onboard you as a coach potentially, or a streamer in the future. This is our internal team here. Basically, it's like a farm club for a baseball team. That's kind of the concept. So you first start by applying. You can come in here and click the apply button, you'll apply. You will need to have Bookmap, and then you will apply for the Junior Academy. And then you will be invited to the Bookmap Junior Academy when your content becomes really good or becomes much clearer. And then that's a testing ground. Can you meet the quantitative and qualitative requirements to get into the Bookmap Academy? If you do, you can get Bookmap for free at this point. We will give it to you. If you double that quota, we will also give you the MBO bundle or other free add-ons. Okay. All right. And if you do really well, we'll give you data if you become a coach as well. So at that point, everything would be free, but you would be turning around and helping back into the junior academy. And then step 4 would be to become a Bookmap Academy streamer. You are coaching more people and providing more value for people out there through streaming. We already have 3 Bookmap Academy members that are streaming. Well, Moby's not streaming any longer, but Tom B and Doug are streaming. All right. So that is the Academy plan. And what I wanted to mention, you guys can see the recordings of the Academy as well from our YouTube channel. You can see it here, or maybe scroll down a little bit more, and or go to lives here, and you'll see it here. Okay, and you can watch the recording, what we covered, going through people's trades in here, as you can see, and giving feedback on them. Now, one was this is what I had mentioned earlier. I think it was Alan and Stephen. You know, we didn't go over your stuff, but we went over Rob's. And Rob just like warmed my heart to see some of the content that you're coming up with now. And I think this is a direction I want to continue to go more and more with the Academy. And that is, I would highly recommend that you guys use your checklists, okay, for your setups, and document that as a part of your journaling. So for example, Rob showed, and I can show it in here. Hold on. Yeah, here you go. Here's Rob's. Okay, he's using his checklist in here. That it's actually an add-on we have in Bookmap. You can grade your checklist in here and look for something that is higher probability. Let me show you the tool. Okay, so just go up to configure add-ons, and then go to your setups and checklist in here. Where is it? Setups checklist right here. Right, it pops up. And actually, this was an ATR strategy we put together on Tuesday and going over it. But the concepts are the same. What you're looking for in here. Do you have this in your checklist? Okay, like ATR. This was on Monday, I believe, or maybe no, Tuesday. I think with the CPI day. I can't remember. But anyway, and we came up with this to test this ATR strategy, and we have the criteria here. Do you have it? Then check the box and then grade it. Is it good? Do we have overextended ATR on the higher time frame? If so, give it a grade, and you'll do that for each of the criteria here. And then you can see down here the average score, it's best if it's an 8 or above, and it met our criteria. What I wanted to cover here, and this would be a trade opportunity, but what I wanted to cover in here is like I would highly suggest a couple things with your journaling. Number one is use the setups checklist. You don't have to use that tool, but have it on your journalized and have it on your screenshot. Okay, have your checklist. Now point to those areas on the chart, just like Rob was doing in here. As you can see like these little areas in here. He had pointed to what had related to that checklist. So he knows what it looks like, and he has it in this checklist. He's checked the box and he's graded it as well. This process here should help tremendously. Okay, it will help you stay away from bad trades and help you select good ones. All right, so do you have the criteria that meets it. Now, what we had talked about before about these checklists and how they help is understanding all of this behind you here as a foundation for your trade opportunity. Okay, so for example, we can take a look at the right now. So some back and forth in here, okay, some positive delta, whatever, but we know it's to the downside mostly, right? We got our move up into 30, but we knew, as we covered in the beginning of the webinar, that it's still a move to the downside here, right? So we're just looking for taking some profit up here. Now, what do we think about this in here? In terms of all of this in here, okay? Do we have enough in here to justify maybe a move to the downside? And you probably could justify it, but it's not very good. It's not high probability. Okay? The move would be sellers here coming in here at this 23 and moving it down to probably about this 20 level here, something like that. Okay? But we don't have enough to justify that. It's back and forth in here, right? It's back and forth in this area, and you can see it here in the volume. You can see the high liquidity up at 30 and high liquidity down at 20, and we're bouncing around within that area, right? So leaning on all of this previous order flow, transactions, and market structure, marking that up, and I would suggest using that setups checklist tool, and then do this before you trade. Okay, so and journalize this in your trade opportunity before you take the trade, and then take the trade, and then see what happened. And have your journaling after the trade as well. All right. So then you'll also see, I highly suggest that you take the opportunity. I mean, just do it in sim. It's fine. It's a study, and you're getting better. If you want to do it in live, that's fine too. But just make sure that at that point it's not a study. It's something. It's the way that you trade. Now, if you don't trade with Bookmap, you're using it more for visualization. I would suggest still trading in sim along with your other trading activity. Okay, this will help you better understand your criteria for taking the trade, and then seeing if it works out, and if it didn't, why. Debrief in the same image that you're journaling. Okay, so actually having the checklist, etc., we've been covering for quite a while. This suggestion actually came from Slowdown, and I forgot to mention it yesterday, is do this before you take your trade. All right, so I really like the suggestion, so thank you, Slowdown, for that. And now you have something to lean on and to justify it. Now, how did it play out? And if it didn't play out the way that you had journalized it, or in your setup, why? What happened? Debrief, and then you can go back and you can learn from that the next time. Okay, I would consider taking a screenshot of another image and debriefing why this did not work out. Right, so see how we were looking for maybe the sellers in here and to drop it into 20. Well, we knew we didn't have something really great though. It was back and forth in this area in here. It kept us away from getting hurt in here. All right, so anyway, I hope that's clear. Let me know if you have any questions on that. It's a very, very simple idea. Just journalize first your setup and your checklist before you take your trade, and then debrief it after. This should help you become a better trader. All right, so I'd like to see that, Rob and others, if you want to put that into your journaling for next time. Okay, for next Tuesday. All right. see any questions. Yeah, sim trades is like how pro traders kind of warm up or practice. Yeah. Or I mean, you can still, uh, trade your strategy uh, in your real account, but you would maybe have a different version of that strategy, or a different something of that strategy, or completely different strategy in sim in Bookmap. Okay, so this way you can see how it worked out, right? And make sure you have a distinction between the two, though. That's really important, because you do not want to get confused with your way of trading. You've come up with a specific strategy. It resonates with you. Don't mess it up. All right, just make sure that if you make a different version of that trade strategy, then it is in a separate study altogether. All right. All right, guys. Let's see. Anything else want to go through here? All right. Well, we see our buyers starting to come in and come back up into this area here. So this is where the sellers really came in and moved the market. So I am looking for some profit taking up in here, or maybe it's a bit of a zone here. So hold on, here or up to here. Okay. Now I would go more with the liquidity up in here as more kind of the target for these buyers to take this right now. Some pretty strong buying coming in at the moment, so looking for it to continue and then reach our this level up here at around 36. Okay, so we can see the bid showing some interest as well. They're pulling some of that liquidity in here, and we're finding buyers. So still looking for the continuation here. Okay, let's see. Any other bigger picture questions? Or let's see if we have any other bigger picture opportunities in here. Yeah, we didn't even look at the bigger picture here. So let's jump to our candlestick chart quickly and just take a brief look at the daily, hourly, and 15-minute chart. So on the daily, well, you can see that we kind of popped up above the previous day's high, and you see the selling coming in. Okay, so on the hourly here, yeah, you can see the well, we gapped here and moved to the downside, tested these wicks down here where we found buyers previous day, and then you can see we've moved, we found some buyers again in here and moved it back up. Right, so it makes sense in the bigger picture here that we're finding some buyers right now. All right, where might they go? Well, even on the 15-minute chart, I would be looking for the first test to be up here at 37 and a half or so, somewhere around here. So this move still has some room in it to go. Right, so maybe we put our line up here at 36, maybe 37 and a half up here is a better target. Okay, the reason that we have 36 though is because it's the range as well as liquidity in here at 36, as you guys can see. So that's why we'd be looking for the move up to there. All right, instead of 37. The global package will allow you to trade in sim. Yes, Jason. I think Alois is all over it. Okay, so yeah, you might want to consider that. The trade management tools in Bookmap, I think are fantastic. But yeah, I mean, we have the let's go through it. Bracketed orders. We have multi brackets as well. They will work in sim soon. At the moment, they don't, right? But trade management in here. Like let's just go long here for a second, and you can move your stops, your limit, take profits, etc. And just uh, you can add another position in, and then you've got two now. You can combine them together, etc. Right? So uh, the management here is right on the chart. Is very visual. The thing that I like about it, and I'd love to see in the journaling in the content, is the active movements in here. Okay, so for example, move your stop up to break even, or whatever it might be. You can see your average position is here. There is a break even indicator as well, add on in here. So I'm about to get stopped out on this one. It was not a good idea, but it's just to demo this in here, right? But let me show the break even, because we did add average into this here. Okay, our break even point. There it is. Yeah, not much, but you can see it move down a little bit, right? Here. So this is our break even point, right? Now, yeah, it would be great, guys, over in the Academy if you are journaling your trading activity and trade management now as well. Why did you move your stops or your take profits into specific areas? Why did you move it up? Why did you add into, scale in or scale out of a trade? Have your reasons for that. What I really like about Bookmap is see how when I move something, it's all recorded. Okay, this is when I moved it at this point here, and I moved it up to this price level here. Okay, so this is fantastic because now you have to come back and you have to debrief, and this was the decision you made. Why did you make it? Okay, what was the reasoning behind it? And then that will really help you. For your debriefing, your trading should improve by optimizing this and understanding your trade decisions in here. Okay, so or why did you flatten? Maybe let's see, did my delta in here, is it starting to pick up? Is it starting to come down? What about the liquidity in here? Is it starting to pull? Am I finding people on the bid, etc. Right? So all of these things may come to your decision, and then you're like, okay, well, I think I'm just gonna exit here. I don't want to. It's not a high probability trade, etc. So anyway, you can then have to come back in and see, this is where I hit the flatten button, right? Why did you hit the flatten button? What was it in here and in here that made you have that decision? Jason, yeah, your executions will go directly into AMP, no problem, with Global Plus. Yeah, it's no problem. I mean, you can very easily set it up with AMP. You'll need to get your rhythmic data from AMP though. All right. All right, there's our move into 37, and we're still seeing buyers come in. So maybe 40 is the next level here. Let's see, what are they doing in the order book? Yeah, kind of pulling here, finding buyers, adding on the bid. So yeah, still looking for it to go higher here. Oh, you're welcome, Jason. Yeah, you'll have to call up Rhythmic and say like, yeah, please, I would like Rhythmic data from you. You will get it at a discount from them instead of paying full price from the Bookmap marketplace and or from Rhythmic. Um, that's a benefit, a bit of a benefit there. It's a little bit subsidized. And then say like, also request, you need full depth. So look for, ask them that you want level 2 as well. All right. All right. Well, our higher time frame level, we just kind of popped. Well, we hit the 37, and then we were still looking for it to go higher, but we're seeing kind of a bit of uh, switch here right now. Not enough buyers. It just kind of dried up in here, and you can see that sellers started to come in and brought it right back down to our 33 level here. Yep, excellent. Thanks, Jason. All right, guys. Well, let's take a look at our higher time frame then. Now, that was the move we were kind of looking for up here, and now we're going to start to look for maybe some sellers, okay? And we're finding them here actually, and yeah, I mean, we didn't have any reason at that point up in here to look for sellers, but it was our higher time frame level. And now we're starting to see the selling coming in, but it's still kind of back and forth here. And we're looking for now sellers though, right? Our higher time frame was achieved. And then let's take a look here. Let's look at this pullback in here. Okay, sellers come in, and then here's our pullback here. Let's also add our cumulative volume delta here. Okay, so here's our pullback, and yeah, there's less buying here than there is selling at this level here. There's some divergence in there. Okay, so yeah, we can look for, again, more selling to come back in and try to make it back down to, and maybe it can break this range here, and then come back down into our next level, which was 30, our kind of original target earlier on. Okay, so let's see if we get our sellers in here. Yeah. There's still some, see the activity on the bid though, so I don't think we're quite ready yet for this move. Or for this idea yet. We're still looking for our sellers here. And the order flow is telling us that, well, there's still action on the bid. Okay, still action on the bid and finding buyers, right? So this idea is we're not ready for it yet, or the market's not ready for it yet. Participants, they are not all aligned yet. Let's jump back to that higher time frame idea here. So if we get our sellers coming in here, I'd be looking for a move back down to maybe 27, or some of these wicks at 23, somewhere around there. Okay. Bigger picture here, sellers are dominating. Okay. Or depends on what time frame you're looking at. I mean, we're in an uptrend, but like on the daily, but like for the day here, we see that sellers are dominating. And we gapped away from the high up here on some pretty heavy selling. And we had lots of data, or a few different data points releases today. Okay, let's go through another potential setup in here. All right, we're going to look at this below this swing here on selling. Put a ray in here as well. Okay, and it's not even close to that at this point. So it's bouncing off of here. We're still finding buyers. Okay, so we're looking for our sellers down here though. Okay, and then to pull away from all of this buying in here. Okay, so our higher time frame, we're looking at our 37 level that was touched, and now we're looking at a lack of buying and a move back down into, well, 27 to 23 on that 15-minute chart, and nothing shaking here at the moment. We're looking for conviction, and right now actually the conviction's on the buy side. No question. I mean, like in this little move in here, convictions on the buy side, moving this market up. Okay, but we're looking for getting below all of that buying, and then to align with the higher time frame, potential move to the downside. Okay, and we know that if we can get back down here, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get stopped out. We'd look for that. Okay, so we're still looking for it here. Here we go. Let's see if we get it. Looking for our sellers. The bid, where are they on the bid? Well, they're down here at these lower levels here. What about the offer? Oh, they're up here. So it's not really all that good. There's a little bit more on the offer right here at 35. Let's zoom in. Okay, and then they pulled. All right, sellers, let's see. You got it here. Let's see if you can move it now. And we want to see a quick move, actually, right back down to 31 and then 30. And then what did we say, 27? Let's mark that up down here or around here. And then our 23, which is the swing down here. Okay, and we're also anticipating stops to be triggered. Okay, so I don't see any stops yet triggered to the downside, but we probably have to get back down to this 31 level first, right below it. We should start to see a lot of panic on the buy side. Buyers are still hanging in there though. I mean, look at the bid, still showing action on the bid here. And they're pulling on the offer. So okay, we did get a pullback. And now let's see if they can really pick it up in here, those sellers. Yep, they got to show up. If this is going to move now, this is where they need to show up, right here around this 33.5. Okay, let's see here. There's a little bit of not really exhaustion, but there's not so much buying in here, but we see our selling. All right, sellers, now we're looking for you to drop it now. 32, 31, 30, and maybe we can pick up some momentum to 27, 23. Still some back and forth. Do we? Let's go through and we're kind of looking for this opportunity here. But one of the things I failed to mention about all the pieces in here, do we have all the pieces? Not really, right? We're looking for below this this level here on selling. Okay, we do have that. Did we have the order book? Not really. We had a little bit of kind of interest in here on the sell side, and they were pulling down here. So, you know, we had a little bit of it. But when we really see it, you'll see that offer come in, and they're going to pull on the bid. And then we're looking for that here. This confluence, this is something that Coach Stan he really looks at, and I really like it a lot. We're looking for that skew in this auction here on the bid to align with the aggressive sellers here. The reaction to that offer is selling, right? And we want to see these guys pulling some of that liquidity on the bid, that they do not want to be buyers here. They do not want to get in the way of a freight train coming at them. So they will be buyers at a lower area, right? That's what we're looking for. And we don't have that yet, right? So we're getting this back and forth. When that extra piece comes in here, is when we have a higher probability opportunity. Okay? And see the slop kind of back and forth in here. Well, let's zoom in here. We'll watch this order book in here. It's so important to understand. And we're not getting much information. They're up here at 37. They're down here at 33. Okay. Well, we want to see someone in here. There actually it's a bit on the bid here at 34. See that coming in right now? Here we can add a little more light to it, or even some of the settings in here. We can kind of boost them up a little bit. Okay. This in here, see that coming in? Now they just pulled, okay? But the reaction was buyers, and look at the bid there. Okay, so we're still finding buyers in here. Some sellers just met these buyers here, made that transaction. See the bid? Okay, so we don't have, in fact, it's the opposite. The bid is stronger in here, and we're finding buyers. Okay, so it's another move back up to this swing high here. All right, so now if we graded that, we were looking for something very specific. It was starting to pan out, but we didn't have all of the pieces yet. Right? And it's just so important to have all those pieces. Yeah, the bid is still strong, even up at this price level here at 30. We're back to 37. I'll cover something we used to do quite a bit in the past. Well, not quite a bit, but every now and then, is take the volume dots off. Okay, let's just look at best bid and offer and I'm sorry, take off last price. Just the best bid and offer and liquidity. We also have the delta down here and volume bars, but you know, we're just looking at how price reacts to liquidity. Okay, so well, this is getting interesting. I mean, there's high liquidity in here. It looks like it transacted, but the bid and the offer are both showing interest here. Okay, we're going to see a skew at a certain point here, and it's going to be pretty clear, or it's going to be clearer. Right now, we don't have that clarity. It's actually more on the bid still, more on the bid, and price is still going up. Okay, they're more on the bid, even at these lower levels in here. Be better to see them up here, but we're not getting it. And we still see that there's also activity here on the offer at these levels, 37 to 38. Okay, so still lacking clarity here, okay, from the order book. I'm sorry, we're getting clarity, but we're not getting clarity for a setup. I mean, the order book's telling us here that there is no opportunity. Okay, still bidding up. They're kind of pulling here at 38, so maybe we will get up to our 40 level, 39.40 here. Let's see. Yeah, the volume dots are the aggressors. Okay, the market buy and sell orders, and those are what move price. They take liquidity out of all of the price level, and if they take all of that liquidity, match with all the sellers on the offer here, the next level of sellers is going to be one tick above or wherever they are in the order book. And you know, the S&P like is, you know, got a lot of depth here, so you can see at every price level we have liquidity. Right? So that's how the market. There's no more buyers than sellers. There's more aggressors than there are limit orders, though, at specific price levels, and that's what will make price move. Is that more aggressors will take all that liquidity and move price to the next level and start taking liquidity there. All right, guys. Well, it's still kind of grinding higher here, but these guys at 39 are not moving. 40, they're even adding a little bit more. And what about the bid? Well, they're still here down at 35. It's getting interesting though. We jump back to Discord. Rob, great that I see your image there that you put in for you took a trade. That's fantastic. I would just be again, stick with that what you had shown the other day, or you know, the journaling that you did. It's about leaning on for your setup all of the things behind it here. This is really the key, and then going along with the smaller time frame in here to give you that insight. Yeah, that's when that alignment happens, is when you can get really good opportunities, and you're more on the side of the, you know, the way it should go. That's what we want, and that's going to come through that journaling. I'm convinced of it, and you helped me with that yesterday. It was really great. Hope convinced me of that. So continue on in that direction, the here and the now, and don't get confused by it. You know, I mean, the here and the now, we want to see it too, but we want to see it align with what we're talking about. Yeah, look at this up here though. Now we can also look at, now this is more looking at the volume dots, but or volume delta. Yeah, you can operate in the here and the now. No problem about that. But align it with your higher time frame, and it's like, you know, you'll be swimming like with the current, and that's so much easier. It's so much easier instead of fighting the market. I mean, the markets are so much bigger than us. You know, we kind of wait and watch and let all of the participants tell us which way this wants to go. It's just much easier. And no one cares about our stupid trade ideas. A market doesn't at all. The only thing um, that we can do is get our bigger picture or you know, alignment here, whatever time frame you're trading, and then look to go with that direction. Okay, so that you can we can just go through an example here, and we'll turn the volume dots on for now. Um, the uh, the here and the now, I mean, like you know, and this move up here. Well, we saw that we were looking for this over here. Right? We see buyers up in here, a lower high. We see some sellers in here. We see that we know if we can get back down below here on some selling, we have the potential to move to the bottom of the range and then some, right? And this idea aligned with this idea here on our 15-minute chart and hourly chart, and maybe even the daily chart. It's a little more confusing there, but anyway, the idea, well, we can also take a look at what else do we have in here. Like I want to see this as being trap volume, and I want to see it move away quickly down here and look for the stop run. Well, we're kind of in that idea in here. If we look at it in hindsight now, we can see we're kind of fighting it. There's a trend up that we were looking for, which did unfold. And then we talked about our trading up into 37 and then looking for the potential for maybe some distribution here in the sellers to come in. But there's still, you know, if we can't get below those buyers and get our continuation, then, you know, we're coming back up and we're still finding buyers here, you know, here and here and here, right? And so, yeah, the market is still climbing. But we're looking for when these things start to align with our higher time frame. On that smaller time frame, let's just go through this. Let's go through a setup in here on the smaller time frame, okay, on the data that we do have available here. Let me close this panel. So on the data that we do have in here, right? So the we have some selling here, but we're above it. We should be seeing our stop run to the upside. We do. Still stop run to the upside. Still stop run to the upside. Okay, into high liquidity now, though. Okay, our 39 and our 40 levels here. Okay, so now we're still moving higher, and the bid is, they're still on the bid, and we're still finding buyers. So we're still looking for it to go higher in this data in here. Okay, in this setup. All right. Okay. We don't see any sort of distribution or turnaround yet. Okay, we'll be looking for pullbacks actually. So here's a pullback, and now we look for the bid and buyers, and then a move back up to 41 here. Okay, then we're getting that, so we look for that then, right, on this here and now, but also with this behind us. Does that make sense? It depends on the time frame. Right, we were looking for an opportunity earlier on a higher time frame to align with our idea. Well, in this one, we're looking for this small time frame to align with this idea and the move up into 41. Okay, and there it goes, and we see nice big stop run too, up into 42 actually. Okay, so we saw that, we saw the pullback. And then we saw the continuation, right? So that was a small opportunity on the here and now, but this is the key. It's on the here and now, but it's also relying on this information here in the order flow and the transactions and the market structure. Okay, so that's the difference. So please, 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 like, go through that process again. Don't abandon that. Don't be distracted, Rob. Stick with it. Look for your and mark up these things and why you think something should work out. Okay, or why didn't it if it didn't work out? That's equally important. Like we had to come back and look at our idea in here that, well, okay, we hit 37, and the idea was there's some selling here, right? We came back up, and we know that if we can get below that buying in here, they're going to be shaking in their boots, and they'll have to exit pretty. They'll be compelled to exit at bottom of the range, and then maybe down at our 27 and our 23 level. And that was the idea. But we didn't get enough sellers in here. We didn't even come down to the bottom of this range here. And instead we curled back up, found more buyers, and then found more buyers again up in here. All right, so that was the idea. And now looking at it in hindsight, we know that well, this buying here, I mean, I'd still be looking for the same thing, to be honest. But what we can go over in hindsight is, like, if this was the opportunity in here, we have to rely on that stop run to the downside. We have to rely on it. Therefore, we're relying pretty heavily on this higher time frame level up at our 37 area. Okay, so that idea was up in here at our 37 up here, right? 37 and a half is what we called it, and it didn't work out, right? So now we know in hindsight what happened, but how do you manage something like that? Or in debrief on this, well, let's go through it. So look at the size of the volume up here. Okay, we had our high time frame level. We have high liquidity in here. Okay, we also have a pretty strong buy move here, okay, that we're kind of fighting against in this idea. Okay, but we do have a higher time frame that we're aligned with. What would have made this a stronger idea would be if there was less buying up in these areas up in here. Okay, so it would be smaller dots up here and bigger selling dots down here. Okay, if we had that and smaller dots in here, right, buying dots. So if we had that and we come back down and we start to see this big selling again, now we have something that's a lot more compelling and a lot stronger of an idea. Okay, then we would look for that continuation and that selling to move it back down. All right, that would be more likely. Okay, well, we didn't really have all of that. And there it is. There's the trade journal on that. Okay, so anyway, hope that helps. Rob, stick with that plan, or the things that you came up with. That was brilliant. In fact, I would recommend that you actually don't trade, and until you really know exactly what you're looking for in that setup. All right. And then watch it play out. Okay. Maybe you just mark it up, and because, like, even it will distract you to take a trade. If you just do it and say, like, I would be looking for an entry here, you can do that. You can play that game. And then once you start to get good at that and you start to read it, then start to trade in sim. Okay, because now you've, and I would say document it many times over. Okay, and then once you start to document it and debrief, like we had a debrief here. The reason that it's so much easier if you don't take a trade, even in sim, is that now you don't have to fight your ego. You can remain more objective and flexible. Why didn't this work out? What did not see or see in here? And we just covered that. Right? So what was my error in here? Well, maybe I'm relying too much on a higher time frame idea. At that 37 level. And then did I have support in here? Supportive, I should say, criteria for that idea. And it was kind of thin. It's kind of thin. I was relying pretty heavily on a stop run here and a squeeze, a long squeeze, but we didn't get it. Okay, so instead we're getting the short squeeze, right? And you can see it here. Stop runs up to the upside. All right, well, let's take a look now. Where are we? Well, we're coming back up to now highs of, well, 15-minute chart here, highs of the cash session right here. It's just testing that right now. Maybe we can get up a little bit higher and even test all-time highs. No, I'm sorry, not all-time highs, but highs on this from the last day or two. Okay, up here. So that would be our 48 level, maybe 50. All right, guys. Well, I hope some of these ideas make sense. Yeah, we're starting to see on a higher time frame in here in the order flow this liquidity traded, but look at the bid. Still, the bid is strong. And we're still finding buyers. Let me get over to YouTube. Any questions? Let's see. Want to check the NASDAQ? Sure, we can take a quick look. And then scalping strategy, is there a good lesson for setting map chart? Yeah, I can show you that. So go to bookmap.com and click here on education, and then go to the getting started course here. This goes through understanding the three elements on the bookmap chart, the basics, and then adding symbols, and then chart navigation, and then displaying elements in here. These are very short videos. You'll breeze through them pretty quickly. They're a couple minutes long each, and then that'll get you up and running pretty quickly. All right. And then next steps on that in the Learning Center here. After getting started, there's also this market mechanics course that I recommend you
contracts
watch.
versus
So just at least part one here, I think will be really helpful for you to understand what we're just talking about now, about the order book and the reaction to that order book. Okay, it's really important, and Bookmap does a great job showing this. Okay, then what was the other thing from the Learning Center here? We do have a strategy in here, and there's going to be more added soon. This is a mini course on a flag pattern, okay, a continuation pattern, and what to look for in terms of criteria. So we've got it here in diagram, and then we cover what that diagram looks like in Bookmap, and then we cover the criteria for your setup in here. So looking at your checklist, okay, all of these things behind it to give you insight that your entry would be around in here. You'd look for that move higher. Anyway, this is actually turning into pretty nice flag pattern. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. To be honest, the consolidation would be down here, and I was just looking for this higher time frame. That's what kind of tripped me up a little bit. Our move to 37, the sellers, there was more sellers than buyers, and now the buyers have taken over the sellers here. We came back up and traded above our cash open here now. I imagine we're going to get a pullback here at this point. This has been a pretty strong move, and we're going to get some profit taking. All right, hope that helped. Let's see. Is there any questions? How to set up from scratch? Yeah, you'll be able to very quickly, if you go through those videos, I think, scalping strategy, you'll be able to, it's really simple. Bookmap looks complex, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. Um, these three elements on the chart, just play around with them. Here, let's just set up something for, and look at, let's input the Russell, since I don't have it up. Okay. All right, and then not only do I have the Russell up, but let's just make this really simple. We'll take footprint off. I'm going to take sweeps, stops and icebergs, all of this off. We're going to look at just a basic chart. Okay, go to CVD and actually get rid of one of our CVD studies. So this is kind of your basic chart. This is what it looks like. You may have different columns by default, but all you have to do is hide them or insert other columns down here by right-clicking in here, and you'll be you'll be up and running. Then right-click, look at different trade data in here, quotes counter, trades counter, notes, custom notes, etc., whatever it is. And then for your heat map, you'll very quickly be able to go through, right-click, and go on the heat map settings. Okay, I use the default here typically, but you can skew these in here, upper and lower cutoff, maybe to look at different levels or highlight other levels of liquidity than compared to lesser levels. And then volume dots, let's go through that. Okay, so you can either right click on the volume dot, or you can go up to studies configuration, which where you can see your heat map right here, but you can also go to volume dots, and then you can go to the default, okay, which is typically what I use, but you can look at 2D dots, you can look at 3D dots, total volume, or the volume delta, buy minus sell. That's typically what I look at, and I just use these settings to be honest, and that's it. You're up and running. That's it. So I would recommend, here's a nice little turnaround in the Russell, right? So you have this lack of buying up in here, and look at our selling. See, this is what we were kind of looking at. We were trying to look at over in this kind of area here. Now we're starting to see it, right? There's a lack of buying up in here, and we're seeing sellers here. Buyers try again, sellers come in. Now they're going to move it. Okay, so now let's see if they can continue though, and then get back down to this 2050 here in this Russell. Okay, so here's our pullback. Now we're looking for sellers to come back in, see if we get some exhaustion, and we don't have exhaustion right now. Okay. So looking for sellers here. No, not enough. Okay. Now they're starting to pick up. It's still not enough, but you can see them coming in. It's not enough for me, though, to justify that. All right, guys, answer the question on that. Let's see. What's the best way to get live data? You have Global Plus, but for Ninja 8, okay. Yeah, you can connect to Ninja 8. It is not recommended though via the API. I don't recommend it. I would recommend that you get a separate data stream. If you have Ninja Brokerage, you can call them and say, I want a separate data stream, and they can give you two. Okay, it might cost you like 10 or 15 bucks more a month, but that's the way to go. Okay, and then connect your Bookmap via that. Okay, and you have Global Plus, so you can trade from the Bookmap chart. Both of those trades, since it will be in your Ninja brokerage, if you take a trade on Ninja, it should show up in Bookmap as well. Or if you take a trade in Bookmap, it should show up on Ninja. All right. All right, guys. Well, we went through a bunch of stuff and saw a few good things. Also, kind of was taken a little bit by surprise in here with this continuation move to the upside. But we covered it in hindsight, right? And we didn't really have all the pieces, especially the order book. We really didn't have the order book on our side. They kept bidding up, and we kept finding buyers. But I was relying. My error in here was twofold. One is we have buyers up in here, and not enough sellers down here. And the other was a bias on the higher time frame. Right, I'm really looking for and anticipating a stop run to the downside. Okay, it hadn't unfolded, but I'm anticipating it. Right, so anyway, we definitely caught the move back up, but then we're looking at a higher time frame, and then the continuation moved back down, which didn't unfold. Instead, then we did catch a little bit of this move back up to the upside in here, going through the same criteria that we originally started with. All right, so thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. Have a great weekend, and guys in the academy, keep up the good work. Great stuff, and look forward to next Thursday. Okay, all right. Thank you everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.